In this podcast episode, Joe Rogan interviews singer-songwriter Skylar Grey, delving into her extensive music career, her creative process, and her personal journey from a small town in Wisconsin to international musical success. They explore themes such as the emotional power of music, the influence of technology and AI on creativity, the challenges of education systems, interactions with wildlife on her ranch, and embracing a grounded, balanced life away from the city. The conversation offers deep reflections on art, ambition, personal growth, and living authentically. The episode opens with a heartfelt discussion about the emotional impact of music. Skylar shares how her song Coming Home means so much that Joe's wife wanted it played at her funeral, illustrating the profound connection people form with music. They reflect on how authentic human emotion embedded in music is something artificial intelligence cannot replicate presently. Despite acknowledging that AI produces impressive and cool songs, they agree that AI lacks the genuine spirit and creativity that a person brings when writing music. Skylar compares the evolution of AI music to previous technological advances like autotune and the talkbox, noting that while new tools can enhance creativity, the human element remains irreplaceable. Skylar recounts her upbringing in an extremely musical family, tracing her roots to folk bands, Celtic harp, barbershop quartets, and even opera singers. From the age of 2, she demonstrated unusual musical talent, such as singing harmony during a birthday song. By 6, she was performing professionally with her mother, touring small venues throughout the Midwest. These early experiences cemented her passion for music, though transitioning to a solo career in her early teens met resistance, especially from her mother, as it radically changed their relationship and her mother's career. Despite the challenges, Skylar was driven by a clear vision and profound love for music from an early age. Skylar describes her frustration with formal education, which she found constraining and irrelevant to her artistic ambitions. She recalls a pivotal moment when her algebra teacher bluntly told her that music was not a real career, a comment that ignited her determination to prove otherwise. Ultimately, Skylar dropped out of school at 16, disappointed by a system that she felt failed to nurture creativity or accommodate her drive. This led to a broader critique of the education system's shortcomings, including underpaid teachers and outdated structures that prioritize conformity over individual potential and creativity. Joe and Skylar discuss how education was historically designed for factory work and how modern systems fail to truly prioritize investing in the best educators, leading to systemic issues. After leaving school, Skylar faced various odd jobs to make ends meet, including an unusual stint editing adult videos. She shares candid and humorous reflections on that experience and the psychological toll it took. Later, in pursuit of reconnecting with her music, she moved to a remote cabin on the southern Oregon coast. There, isolated and without modern conveniences like internet or easy transportation, she overcame writer's block and heartbreak. This period allowed her to rediscover her passion away from industry pressures and distractions. Eventually, an important connection through her music publisher led her to collaborate with producer Alex DeKid, sparking her breakout moment with the creation of the hook for Eminem's Love the Way You Lie. Skylar opens up about the mental challenges she faced amid sudden success, especially the pressure to deliver hit songs constantly. Despite composing chart toppers almost effortlessly, she struggled with imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and the difficulty of creating collaboratively in high-pressure studio sessions with strangers. She values solitude and organic flow over forced creativity, emphasizing the importance of emotional connection and feeling in songwriting. Joe and Skylar also discuss the concept of the muse as a spiritual or mystical force that creatives channel rather than control. They stress that creativity often comes unbidden and that imposing strict structures can stifle authentic expression. Throughout the conversation, the evolving nature of the music industry is a recurring theme. Skylar highlights how industry expectations pressured her to create commercially successful music while piping down her creative instincts. She discusses how technology, from autotune to AI, has impacted music, viewing these innovations as tools that can broaden possibilities but never replace genuine human artistry. Their dialogue acknowledges the tension between commercial demands and personal artistic vision, as well as the need to balance authenticity with modern production realities. Skylar shares vivid stories from her life in Napa Valley, where she lives on a ranch co-owned with her partner. They cultivate organic vineyards using biodynamic farming practices, eschewing pesticides and glyphosate common in conventional viticulture. The episode includes engaging accounts of ranch life, including struggles with predators such as coyotes, bobcats, and mountain lions that have decimated their chicken and sheep populations. She details the emotional toll of losing beloved animals and the difficulties in managing wildlife threats. Joe and Skylar also discuss local wildlife behaviors, mountain lion whistle calls, and the emotional bonds formed with rescued and bottle-fed animals. Connected to their ranch life, the conversation turns to hunting and food sourcing. Skylar explains her experiences helping with hunting, processing deer and other game, and the appreciation that comes from consuming wild, organic meat. They discuss various wild animals such as elk, axis deer in Hawaii, bears, and mountain lions from both ecological and culinary perspectives. The dialogue touches on the ethics and cultural significance of responsible hunting, sustainable food practices, and the unique qualities of wild game compared to store-bought meat. As the discussion deepens, Skylar reflects on turning 40 and the self-critical thoughts associated with feeling like she may have wasted potential by not embracing the grind earlier in her career. She candidly shares moments of frustration over unfinished projects and the difficulty in balancing perfectionism with productivity. However, she is evolving toward embracing imperfection, focusing on authenticity and enjoying the creative journey rather than fixating on legacy. Joe concurs that with age comes the wisdom to care less about external validation and more about genuine expression and enjoyment of life's experiences. Skylar and Joe both extol the mental and spiritual benefits of living close to nature, away from the distractions and constant connectivity of city life. They discuss the importance of forest bathing and being unplugged from technology to reset their creative energies. Skylar notes a tangible difference in the quality of life and mindset when cell signals and Wi-Fi are absent. Both acknowledge how modern life's relentless pace can dull the senses and how grounding oneself in natural environments is essential for creativity, mental health, and overall well-being. Toward the end of the conversation, Skylar discusses her forthcoming album titled Wasted Potential, a deeply personal work that chronicles her upbringing, discovery of her sexuality, and reflections on her childhood from a new perspective. She talks about wanting to release music more frequently, aiming for an album a year rather than every 5 years, to capture moments in time and reduce the pressure for perfection. Skylar expresses a desire to have more fun creatively, shedding some of the self-imposed seriousness that has hindered her in the past, embracing the freedom to experiment with different genres and sounds. Throughout the episode, the warm, candid rapport between Joe and Skylar shines through, from playful stories about her family and dogs to touching moments about personal losses and achievements. Though she experienced significant professional highs and lows, Skylar's story is one of passion, resilience, and authenticity. The discussion touches on the realities behind stardom, creative doubts, industry challenges, and personal sacrifices, while celebrating the joy of connection, art, and living a life aligned with one's true self.